Good afternoon. Today is the 50th of February and we've been over to Barron's Classic Car Auctions again today. We're doing some shambolic shuffling, but we're now on the way back, and we might as well follow up on a video that I made a few days ago, which was about the supply of second-hand cars. One of the things that I said I was going to follow up on, and this has been prompted by a couple of things. First of all, one of my subscribers, who's called Matt, who mentioned this, and also something that I've seen myself before, which has been discussed many times on the Chops Garage channel by James, and that's small automatic cars and how unbelievably expensive they are at the moment. So as we know, there was a drop in second-hand car sales in general in 2022 compared with previous years, and that was quite marked actually. It's about 600,000 less than the year before. So we looked at maybe some of the reasons for that, and principally, well, we're in a recession and things like that, and prices are very high and all that sort of stuff. But prices are particularly high with small automatic cars. So just one example. Simon Landy Prestige in Chelmsford has two small automatic cars up for sale at the moment. One is a Ford Fiesta, one's a Volkswagen Polo, both eminently sensible second-hand super minis that I've covered on the channel before. In fact, the manual Polo that I covered on the channel a few weeks ago, I think is still there, but it's also got an automatic one. The Fiesta is a 2014 and is up for sale. I think the mileage under 30,000 for £10,000. The Polo, which has I think something like 13,000 miles on it, getting to 2014, is up for sale for £12,000. These cars would have cost probably somewhere in the region of maybe £15,000 to £19,000 new, but they're now up for sale for, well, not much less than that. Why on earth is this? Matt, who's one of my channel members, also said that he had seen kind of similar prices for things like Honda Accords, that kind of age as well. And I think it's simply just due to demand. What is it that people don't particularly want if they haven't got a lot of money at the moment? It's electric cars. That they are the one sort of segment of the market that's bucking the overall trend of prices just being very high and staying high at the moment, and demand outstrips supply. There's more electric cars coming onto the market all the time, and prices of those are softening. They're not cheap or anything, but they're softening a little bit. But small petrol cars, which is what people want, they're holding really firm, and in some cases increasing. If you want a car that's going to get you around, going to cost you not much to service, and going to be good on fuel principally, then a super mini is the way to go. And of course, the Fiesta has been discontinued in June, so that's a factor which is driving people to look at buying second-hand ones. Soon you won't be able to buy a new one, and with the current demand for automatics outstripping manuals, I think it's something to do with it. People just don't want to drive manuals anymore. I mean, I like driving manuals. I think I'll probably own a manual car for as long as I can. Obviously what I'm driving today is an auto, which sort of undermines my theory somewhat, but manuals just aren't that popular anymore. People don't necessarily want to learn to drive them, whereas autos are more and more popular. Well, obviously electric cars are almost entirely all automatic. There are some exceptions to that, but they're almost entirely all automatic. If you want to drive in London, for example, you're going to maybe want to have an automatic gearbox, and a lot of the people who are paying a lot of money to drive and waiting a lot of time to actually take lessons and tests, and that seems to be a sort of thing at the moment that I've heard a lot about, they don't want to bother with a manual. I just don't want to. I think my lady wife in some way would prefer to drive an auto most of the time. She just finds it a bit easier. And so the manuals aren't so much in demand as the autos. The autos are massively in demand at the moment. And it's crazy. So you think the kind of, you know, Simon's cars are expensive. He's sourcing some really good quality ones, and that's what the market seems to be demanding. It's crazy. I think that's really far too much to pay for something like that. And I think there are other alternatives which would be cheaper, but the Polo and the Fiesta are some of the most sought after cars on the used market at the moment. That just seems to be the way. I also am a little bit concerned about power shift gearboxes and forwards, and if you don't service the DSGs properly in Volkswagen Group cars, then you can also have issues. So that is a concern for me, but there are some people who only have an automatic license. There are some people who just, for whatever reason, can't drive a manual, or just simply don't want to, and that's fair enough. I mean, we have 2 automatics in the household. One of them is this one, which is my mother's car. She's given up driving manuals a long time ago. I mean, she's got driving full stop at the moment, but she last owned a manual car in about 2006. So, you know, there's so many people who want the autos, and it's just the way that it is. I mean, you're going to fall off your chair at some of these prices, but it just seems to be what people demand. And, you know, we don't want to necessarily wait to order something like, I don't know, a Mazda 2 Auto, something like that, or the Mazda 2 Hybrid that's even more expensive than normal Mazda 2, or Toyota Yaris Hybrid. These are cars that now cost in excess of £20,000 to £25,000. Whereas, you know, when these Polos and Fiestas were new in 2014, they were well over £20,000. So there's been a big increase in that as well, and so people don't want to spend that much money on them, but they end up spending loads anyway because everyone else has the same feeling about them. It's like a vicious circle, isn't it? It's absolutely insane. But really, what I want to know from you is, would you pay that amount of money for a 9-year-old small automatic car? And they're not even, you know, sort of, you know, Audi A1s that we're talking about. They're not a BMW 1 Series. They're nothing like that. They're Polos and Fiestas. Perfectly good cars in their own right, but with those sort of residual values, was the sort of thing I'd expect to see on, I don't know, a Porsche or something like that, the sort of percentage that's been retained. And it's just mad. If you bought like an automatic Mazda 2, I'm sure it wouldn't be that expensive, but because everyone's heard of the Polo or Fiesta, I suppose that's another thing that allows them to sort of cash into badge equity. So there we go. If you've got a small automatic car that you want to sell at the moment, particularly if it's a popular brand, then, you know, this could be your time. This could be an opportunity for you to actually literally cash in. Obviously, if you need to buy a replacement for it, then that's going to be a little bit difficult. But nevertheless, we are in the situation we're in, and just proceed with caution if you do need to get into this market, because, well, it could get a little tricky. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again soon for more surprisingly relevant advice. Lloyd Vehicle Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below.